I agree. It's completely unprofessional, Dick.
Lou, can I ask you to please put out your cigarette?
No, I like to smoke like drink.
Oh, that's what we are here. We are the professionals. This is Dennis New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Oh, we have the Giant rookie minicamp starting today, the 9th, running through the 10th. We also have Gabe Davis news, and just the fact that is there's always playoff aspirations for the Giants in May. And it's May 9th. And like I said, the highlight of this week, and we're going to see a little bit of highlights now and then, a little sprinkling of things to come, but the rookies are reporting to the Giant facility. They're going to have that 2-day rookie mini camp. The purpose of the mini camp is basically just an introduction to the NFL, helping the rookies get kind of acclimated to the organization. You're going to go through some meetings. You're going to go through some practices. You're going to meet the staff. You're going to go through various introductions with the different departments. It's just really kind of a way to start building a relationship with the organization, that with the rookies. With Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter and everyone else coming in. And it's also for, you have tryouts as well for about 30 hopeful Giant players will be coming out as well. So, it's the ability to start making a name for yourself. Doesn't mean anything. Oh, fuck no. I mean, shit. It's May, guys. It's May 9th through the 10th. It means nothing. I mean, it's a good indicator if you're going to have some guys that are going to show up to camp, on some, rookie undrafted free agent deals. But it's really just to get a better understanding of the NFL, get a better understanding of the organization. So whatever you see in this camp, don't get too hyped. And to the opposite, whatever you see in this camp that you don't like, don't get too down on it, because it's May. And right now, you're going to have a certain segment of Giant fans that are going to live and die with every pass with Jackson Dart. We went through this for 5+ seasons with Daniel Jones. You lived and died on every single throw. Let's just give the kid a break. He was brought in here not to be the starter day one. It's not going to happen. You have Russell Wilson, the 2-time Super Bowl participant, 1-time Super Bowl winner. You got Jameis Winston, the former number 1 overall pick. You still even got Tommy DeVito in here. But at the end of the day, just give the kid a break. Let him learn. Let him get acclimated. Before you start, dishing in the accolades of how he's going to be the next Josh Allen, how he's going to be this, how he's going to be that. Let him familiarize himself with the playbook. Let him have an understanding of the league. Let him get some fluidity in the offense. The same with Abdul Carter. I'm curious to see if we're going to see Abdul Carter on the practice field, because we really haven't seen him play since that last bowl game, and he's been still nursing the foot injury and the shoulder injury. So we got to kind of wait and see what happens there. I'm excited. Like I said, it's excited because you're going to get to see some guys in some pads. You can get to see, not in pads actually, but you're going to get to see some guys, put on the practice jersey, the dirty practice jersey, put on that helmet and run some plays. It is what it is. I'm just excited that there is some type of football operation going on again over at MetLife. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great to watch. I'm very excited to see what exactly happens. But I'm gonna be more excited when we get into more mandatory mini camps and things such as that. So let's just curb our enthusiasm a little bit. That's like, I keep seeing the Giants have done enough to be a playoff team. Oh, they have playoff aspirations. Every team in May has playoff aspirations. Every team. It's not like you're looking at an organization going, you know what? I was thinking about it. We don't want to make the playoffs this year. We're going to be better off if we just kind of suck. No one's saying that in May. But if you take a look at the roster, you take a look at what the Giants have done this offseason, you take a look at the current talent, and you take a look at the schedule. We don't have the dates, but we have the opponents. And everyone knows that the home schedule is going to be brutal. I mean, you take a look at what we did last year with that schedule, and that schedule last year wasn't that terrible. But this year, if it shakes out by vis-a-vis the opponents that you take a look at the way they performed last year, it's going to be a difficult task for the Giants to win, 2-3 games at home. Then the question is going to be, are they going to be able to take what they have and head out to the road and win some games there? Are they improved enough? Well, there's going to be questions. Question is Paulson Adebo going to be ready for camp? Is he going to be ready for that first game of the season? Is he going to fit into the Shane Bowen defense? Excuse me. Because, like I said, the Shane Bowen defense is not this man cover, press cover defense where it's an attacking style defense, which is why Tay Banks suffered a little bit last year. That and the fact of poor safety play. You're going to have to take a look at this front line. While this front line could potentially be ferocious, I don't see a NASCAR. NASCAR worked, especially under Perry Fuel, and that's when NASCAR was termed, the phrase, in 2011, because of the fact that you had 4 defensive ends that could play the run. Jason Pierre-Paul and Matthias Kiwanuka, what most people do not remember, and we've talked about this before in the stream, had 80-plus tackles apiece that season. And the majority of their tackles were solo tackles, which means they were leading the point of attack. Justin Tuck and Osi Umenyiora both were hampered by injuries that year, but when they came in as well, they had the ability to play the run. These were full-size defensive ends. And I laugh because you take a look at our defensive ends now, you sit there and you kind of say to yourself, okay, well, these aren't the stoutest of players. They rely more on speed and quickness and guile than pure power and brute strength. That's what Dexter Lawrence is there for. And then you go out and get Darius Alexander to put in the defensive tackle. Like I said to people before, people need to remember he was the 13th defensive tackle off the board. So, I mean, I'm not saying that means anything, but sometimes when you need a defensive tackle and you reach the end of the rope in reference to the talent level, he was the 13th guy taken off the board at that point in time at defensive tackle. He is more of a pass rusher. He's not going to be this stout defender that is going to be, that Dalvin Tomlinson or Jonathan Hankins-esque player. He's going to be more with the giddy up and go after the quarterback. This theory will work well if you're able to get everyone on the field and everyone has a full understanding of their assignments and they stick to that understanding. You can't have a lot of guys that are going to freelance here because of the fact that you are going to you got 2 games in division against Philadelphia. You got another 2 games in division against Washington, whose offensive lines, one has always been good, and the other one is greatly improved, and that's in reference to Washington. And like I said, you are going to have to make sure that you are not going to be over-aggressive in what you do and what you try to do, because if you are with these undersized defensive ends, you're just going to have people run right past you again, like we've seen the last 5 years. So the question is going to be, if you generate this pass rush, it could be devastating. But like any other pass rush, you better have the secondary in place, and you hope that with Paulson Adebo and Banks that you have that. And also you got to remember Holland at the safety position, even though he's coming off a down year from Miami, you potentially could have a top 15 defense. But all of it's going to have to play and put, the maestro, also known as Shane Bowen, is going to have to work his magic to figure out how to make these pieces fit, because you are going to be playing as an undersized defense. I always go back to that Super Bowl with Atlanta and New England. I mean, Atlanta had an undersized defense, which just basically got worn out. And that's what you're going to have to worry about the Giants when you are getting pile drived by much larger people. So you got to kind of wait and see. You got to see the pieces fit. Also, I'm still very leery about our linebacker situation. Will we find, is there someone out there free agency that we can still bring in? Is there going to be someone that's going to step up in camp? But everyone's talking about having Abdul Carter play multiple positions. Oh, he's going to be that jack of all trades. Yeah, I'm still looking at you, Isaiah Simmons, who's now sitting in Green Bay. Let's just focus on having Abdul Carter do one thing well, and that's going after the quarterback. He is not an off-the-ball linebacker. I keep telling people this over and over again. The telling stat, Season 2, Penn State, off-the-ball linebacker, Abdul Carter only had 40-plus tackles. But he had a missed tackle percentage of 25.7%. A bad missed tackle percentage in the NFL is like 8%. He was 25.7 his second season. Parsons' second season at Penn State, he was devastating. Abdul Carter, not so much. So let's make Abdul Carter what he is. Let's make him a speed rusher who you can take advantage of in a mismatch situation, and let's try not to make out this kid what he's not. He has issues making tackles in the open. He got lost in the sauce at times in Penn State. He has issues making tackles in space. Use him what every NFL pundit thinks he can do well, which is go after the quarterback. Then you got to look at this offense. Is this offensive line? You got Bo, and you're thinking Bo's going to be able to play both tackle and guard position. I mean, that's what some Giant fan thinks. The offensive line is still suspect, but like I said, it's May. It's freaking May. Let's wait till we get into training camp a little bit, see what gels together. But what kind of offense is this going to be running? Because we've been running a vanilla offense for 3 years, and we've been trying to tell people it's rocky road. Shane Dable I keep hearing him being the quarterback whisperer, the quarterback genius. I haven't seen it yet. And outside his work with Josh Allen, what has he done with an NFL quarterback that makes you go, wow, it makes you stand up and go, well, that's kind of impressive. But what's the identity? And these are things that we need to talk about, but talk about down the future. What's the identity here? Are you going to be a smash mouth team? You're going to go with Scadaboo and Tracy and do what they used to do back in the old day? Use the run to set up the pass. Are you going to be a plotting team that manages the clock and sits there and gets 4 or 5 yards at a pop and tries to go for the big play for Neighbors? Or are you going to be a West Coast style offense? Maybe an offense similar to what Russell Wilson ran in Seattle? What's Dable's magic going to be? Because I laugh because we've said this before on the show a million times, guys. Your backup quarterback usually should mirror what your starting quarterback does. And that's not the case here. You have two different styles of quarterback play in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. So are you going to have to revamp and rechange your offense a little bit if one guy falls out? Jackson Dart fits more of the Russell Wilson mold than Jameis Winston does. But like I said, what's going to be the offensive identity? Are you going to be a short passing West Coast, take that shot deep game type game? I personally think I would go ground and pound. Yeah, you're going to lose some of the effectiveness of Malik Neighbors, and he may not be happy of it, but you know what you do? You do what good teams do. You have a solid running game, you play good defense, and you score points. You manage the clock. You control the line of scrimmage. And then you use your passing game to your advantage once you've softened up the defense. And that's why you went out and got a Cam Scadaboo. I don't know if Cam is going to be able to run through defenders like he did in college. We're going to have to wait and see because, like I said, these aren't going to be guys that are being, working at Home Depot. You're going to be going up against some stout defensive line, especially in your own division. The NFC East this year is going to be tough. And like I said, I don't want to see Dak Prescott come back and be successful. And like I said, that's just for personal reasons. I just don't want to see that. But can you move forward? I mean, what outside of Malik Neighbors, are you really convinced that Darius Slayton's your number 2? That Wan'Dale Robinson is gonna find a second gear? That Jalen Hyatt's gonna actually be able to catch the ball? Are you gonna bring in a Gabe Davis? And I wouldn't be against bringing in a Gabe Davis. I'm not thinking it's the best direction to go, but if you can get the kid on a cheap, why not? Bring him in. Let's see what he can do. If anything, I would hope that he would be a better Darius Slayton. Plus, he could have the familiarity with the Dable offense. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with us on the Believe Network show. Make sure you check us out on Believe. We're going to have a live stream on Saturday, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And again, this is Tim, this New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC, and we're out of here. Thanks.